And so another way to think about agents is that they are autonomous. They can operate on their own. They can be reactive, so things can happen and they can just take action immediately. They can be proactive, they can take the initiative, and they can have social ability. And that social ability is particularly important in kind of multi-agent systems or when agents interact with humans. And I would claim that the thing that large language models have done by virtue of the fact that they are able to communicate by natural language so well is they've sort of democratized AI. They've opened it up to everybody because everybody can just go and type in a question. So what about autonomy? So agents, AI agents, can operate independently of humans. They can make their own decisions. Now, that doesn't mean that they're self-sufficient. So, um, when you go and talk to ChatGPT or Claude or any of these other models, you're typically the experience is that you're typing stuff in, it's typing stuff back, but many AI agents can use tools. So they have APIs that they can call. They can say, well, you want me to plan a trip for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit an API at a travel service. I'll do some queries. I'll gather that information. Maybe I'll call out to a model that has been trained using machine learning methods to do something, but they get to do that by themselves. They can decide what to do next. And so this autonomy is crucial for multi-step tasks, right? So older school AI systems, you would say, make a prediction about the price of an airline ticket to Portland tomorrow. And it would go do that thing, right? But it would never say, oh, he's asking about tomorrow, but maybe it's cheaper on, the day after. Let me look at that as well and give it to him. So, again, the examples are an LLM agent. You can say, book me a trip, and it'll go out and do lots of work for you. Or robotic vacuum is going to decide, where should it clean next? You don't have to tell it. It'll just go, I haven't cleaned the living room in a while. Let me go do that. Also, so they can go do things on their own, but they're also reactive. And the idea here is that they don't have to follow rigid scripts. So old school AI methods are more about I'm going to program in all of your logic. But they were brittle. So the term that was often used is brittle. That is, um, I could take a very common example is I could take an agent or an AI system that was great at playing checkers, but it would fail at chess or vice versa. So reactive agents are able to sort of respond when something unexpected happens. So a customer service chatbot notices that the user is frustrated, and then tries to escalate or tries to placate the customer. I've definitely used that technique in phone trees. I've tried to act angry. In fact, I have been angry, but they're apparently not paying attention to tone of voice. Or a warehouse robot. It's like, okay, I'm trying to take this package to this location, but a human gets in the path and goes, oh, that's not good. I'm going to react. They can also be proactive, which is they can initiate action, right? So they're not just responding to inputs in a reactive sense, but they can plan, they can anticipate needs, they can act without being explicitly asked. So, an example here is, like, okay, I'm heading to work. That agent is looking at traffic, and wow, traffic is bad today. And so the agent will say, hey, Tim, you should probably leave 15 minutes early because you're going to be late to your first meeting because traffic is bad, right? Or, maybe a researcher is working on a paper on a particular topic and the assistant is watching that, this LLM, and it goes, oh, I bet they're going to want to do a literature review on that topic. Let me go ahead and like set that up for them. And then the final element is this sort of social ability. And um, everything we've talked about to this point has been sort of let's think about a single agent that's doing thing, but there's all this work on multi-agent systems. And multi-agent systems, the agents have to be able to manage their own tasks, but they also have to be able to interact with other agents or with humans. And so, maybe a logistics network has agents that are negotiating load distributions, or an AI teammate is explaining something to a human partner or trying to engage them in a cooperative task.